thought I'd go to my grave believing it was just how I was built. Some men are loud. Some men are silent. I thought I was the second kind. But last winter, I heard her say it soft, not even to me. And I knew I wasn't quiet. I was absent. My name's Howard Lattimore, 83. I used to be a trained signal technician out of Wabash, Indiana. In that job, if a signal didn't repeat, you treated it like noise. 42 years, counting my apprentice time. Retired in 1999. Same house since 1976. Beige siding. Corner lot. No fence. My daughter says it's too quiet out here. I lost Marlene 9 years ago. 3 kids. 1 still checks in regular. I read a lot of westerns, sometimes the same one twice. Eat dinner around 4, wash up by 5:30. I like order. I don't like loose ends. It was Thanksgiving, sort of. Not the big one, we'd done that early with my son's family. This was just Sarah, my youngest, bringing the grandkids over. I was standing at the sink, scraping off plates. Emma, the little one, was playing with my old switchboard. I kept it wired to a lamp, so when you threw the lever, the bulb clicked on. Still works. Sarah was in the living room, half laughing, trying to get Jasper to look up from his phone. She said, "Not loud, not bitter. Grandpa's always been hard to reach, huh?" Just like that. Like you'd describe a door that never quite latches. That sentence. It didn't hurt. Not then. It slid in sideways. I didn't even turn around. Just ran the water over the forks until it went cold. I didn't know she thought that. I didn't know they all did. If I don't cause trouble, I'm doing right. That's it. That's the whole lie. I didn't say it much, not out loud, but it was always underneath. At work, I triple-checked my wires. At home, I kept the thermostat steady. Lawn trimmed, bills in the drawer. If someone cried, I gave them space. If someone raised their voice, I lowered mine until I disappeared. I thought it meant I was easy to live with. Turns out, it meant I was never really in the room. There was a rhythm to it. You don't see it when you're inside it. You think you're being considerate. You think letting people be is a form of love. Sarah came home from college once and sat at the kitchen table crying. She had a crumpled receipt in her hand, kept folding it over and over. I sat across from her, sipping coffee. I said, "You'll figure it out. You're smart." Then I got up to check the mailbox. Nothing came that day. Marlene's father passed years back. At the service, the preacher asked if anyone wanted to share a memory. She looked at me. Just a glance. I shook my head no. We drove home in silence. The windows kept fogging, so I turned the heat up. That's all I remember. Another year, my son brought his wife for Christmas. She offered to help in the kitchen. I told her, "We don't do much ceremony here." She didn't ask again. Now they host. There was a little boy, neighbor's kid, fell off his bike right near my drive. He was wailing, bleeding from the knee. I just stood there. His father came running, scooped him up, didn't say a word to me. I waved. They didn't wave back. I waved. They didn't wave back. I told myself it was just timing. Maybe they didn't see. Maybe the boy was too upset. That's what I did with most things. Filed them under maybe she's just tired. Maybe he's just busy. Maybe I'm not supposed to say anything here. Birthdays came and went. I knew the dates. Had them written on a little flip calendar near the bread box. But I didn't call. Didn't want to interrupt dinner. Didn't want to get the time zone wrong. Didn't want to make it about me. Love? I think, was like steam in the winter, visible only when it collided with cold, and I avoided cold, so nothing showed. Once, Marlene broke a glass in the sink and cut her hand. I brought her a towel, said, "Keep pressure on it." Didn't hold her, didn't say anything else, just wiped down the counter and picked out the shards. I remember how the fridge hummed behind us. It always did, that low and steady, like a breath being held. That sound, it's in every quiet I've ever known. My grandson, the middle one, drew a picture of me last year. He handed it to me after supper, right in the hallway, paper still warm from his fingers. It was drawn on the back of a school flyer, creased and soft at the corners. A stick figure with a block body, triangle nose, and the knit cap I wear in winter. He'd even drawn the chair. In the top corner, he'd written, "Grandpa, age 80, job thinking." I laughed a little and said, "Looks like you got my hat right." He smiled, kind of sideways, said, "You're always in your chair with your hand like this." Then he tucked his chin down, pinched the bridge of his nose, and stayed that way, like he was waiting. In the next room, the fridge hummed behind the wall. I said, "Well, that's not a bad job." He looked up. I could tell he wanted more. There was a pause, but not a long one. Then he said, "Is it because you're sad?" He didn't blink when he asked it, just held his eyes on mine like he'd finally found the right question. My throat tightened. I felt my tongue pressed to the back of my teeth. The fridge hummed behind the wall, low and steady, like it was covering for me. I don't remember what my face did. I know I didn't answer. I folded the paper and slipped it into my shirt pocket, told him to wash up for dessert. Later that night, I put it in the drawer next to my socks. It stayed there for months, got bent from being wedged in wrong, picked up lint. The ink blurred at the edges, especially the word thinking. One morning, I found it again, soft, nearly white from rubbing against itself. I don't remember why I opened the drawer that day, but I sat on the edge of the bed, holding it. Didn't unfold it all the way, just enough to see the shape of me still there. The second time I noticed it, that same waiting, it was at my niece's wedding. That would have been 6 years ago. They sat me next to a woman named Carol, cousin on Marlene's side. We'd met once or twice at reunions, but I don't think she remembered. She wore a dark green dress and a big round brooch that caught the light like a reflector. I remember that more than her face. The tablecloth had a snag in the corner. I kept running my finger over it, twisting it until the thread came loose. Carol stood up slow, holding the edge of the table to keep her balance. She looked down at me and smiled, sort of tired. "You don't dance, do you?" I said, "Never have." She gave a short laugh, kind of flat. Then she said, "That's all right. Some men just disappear differently." I didn't say anything, just looked at the knot in my napkin. There was clapping behind us offbeat, one guy too loud. I remember the scent of her perfume. Clove, or something meant to smell like clove. That line stayed with me longer than the whole reception. Some men just disappear differently. It didn't sting, not exactly. It just landed, like she was saying what everyone else already knew. I thought maybe I was just built a certain way, quiet, careful. I thought that excused the distance, but that's not the truth. The truth is I held back every time it would have cost me something. Time, vulnerability, looking foolish, being wrong, not because I didn't care, because I cared and didn't trust myself to show it properly. So I didn't try. I waited. But people don't wait with you. They reroute. They adapt to the version of you that shows up. Eventually, they stop knocking. They assume the lights are off. Marlene wasn't quiet. She just got tired of repeating herself. My son isn't distant. He just learned not to expect follow-up questions. My grandchildren aren't shy. They just don't try more than once. And the more I noticed, the more it locked in place. I hadn't built a quiet life. I'd built a soundproof one. You don't hear the shift while it's happening. You think you're giving space. You think you're keeping peace. But here's the part no one tells you. Space turns to silence. Peace turns to absence. And nobody warns you that being easy to live with can feel the same as not being there at all. So let me ask you something. Do people know how you sound when you're glad? Do they know what you're afraid of? Do they know what you regret? When someone reaches for you, do you actually meet them? Or do you wait, like I did, for a signal that never comes twice? Have you ever confused being low maintenance with being invisible? Have you mistaken not interrupting for being kind? Do they know you? Not your routine, not your role, you. And if you think you've still got time, what if they don't? That paper drawing of me, the one labeled thinking, I found it again last week, under an old flashlight, creased, soft, nearly blank. I sat with it a long time, didn't unfold it all the way. It still looked like me. This time, I set it on the kitchen table where I eat every day. I left it there, half folded, like a door I still couldn't bring myself to open all the way. Still waiting to say something. Still waiting.